Welcome to Knackerbox Garage, a Scratchy Pants production.
Hey, welcome to a new Scratchy Pants series that we're affectionately calling Knackerbox Garages. Knackerbox referring to an old rattler, something that's a little bit old and crusty, and garage is obvious. But the plan is that Ian and I will work on our respective old Knackerboxes, video it, and then share it in an interesting dialogue on video and YouTube in an effort to get up to triple digits in fan numbers. We're going to start with the B2544. This is my 1967 B25 fitted with a 1968 B44 engine. I competed very successfully last year in the $1,000 bike challenge with it, which was great because the year before I failed miserably on the B25, the engine of which is right there. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to give it a quick service. I'm going to do a fluid change, oil, tappet clearances, chain adjustment, primary chain adjustment, and just give it a once over, tighten up a few things. Like I say, fluid change, just to get it ready. We've got a few things coming up, and motorcycle schedule and family wise. So I happen to have a day of not doing very much, and that's the day today that I'm choosing to do this. So I'll bring you along for the ride. Other projects we've got on the go that are coming up, or at least I hope are coming up, the said B25 engine, not sure what to do with that. I know what's wrong with it. The gear shifter snapped, so that's a bit of a, I need to fix that. And then in the other room, in the garage area, we've got my 1976 T140, which is coming back to life. She needs a bit of love, really. I rode her and didn't really show her much love, and I've got some issues with the oiling. Still got a leak if you look underneath, that's all brand new oil leaking out of it. So I don't think I've done the sump plug up tightly. So I've got to get this going. Everything in here, with the exception of the Himalayan at the end, is well, obviously the 76 isn't, but they're all inspected and ready to go. We're taking a year out with the Enfield Himalayan. It belongs to my son-in-law. He's chosen not to tax it or inspect it, insure it, whatever, because he lives in Alaska and I'm in Massachusetts, so there's a slight 4,000 mile difference. So he's not going to ride it and doesn't want to spend the money on it for me to ride it 3 times. KCM needs a service, also needs back, rear, new rear brake pads, could do with an oil change. Basically, we rode it on the BDR's ride and hasn't had anything happen to it since, although it's been inspected. Speedmaster's been serviced and cleaned. Talked about the 76 Bonneville and the Tiger. That had a 12,000 service over the winter together with a new fruity tailpipe. It's had a clean. It's superbly ready to go, and will be my choice of machine for Bennington. And the 250 Honda, which you're looking at the front end, I've got rid of most of it. I got it really only for the rear wheel and the forks. The forks are still there. It's got the stupid 23-inch front wheel, which is an idea Honda had for a while. I've also got to build a bench in here and then put in a proper ladder, so that's another project. But we're going to start with the B25. So I'll get her set up and ready to go, and then I'll talk you through a few things, and we'll pick it. Well, I might as well start actually while we're looking at it. Hang on, let me just kick the oil out of the way. So B25, to get to the primary, which is under this thing, I've got to pull off the brake pedal and the footrest. And because this is an old British bike with sort of very interesting design features, this is held on. This is a left-hand thread, so you tighten it left ways to tighten it. So the thought being that when there's pressure on the foot peg, it's actually tightening up and not loosening off. There's a serrated, well, I'll take a picture or show you it when it comes off, and there's supposed to be a special washer the special washer actually wasn't fitting correctly to the footrest, so I've actually welded it to the footrest. So I've got to remove this, pull this off, then drain the fluid. There's a drain point here, which is probably sealed with a bit of silicone because it leaks. So we'll do that. Then we'll get into the top end, but we'll start with this. It needs an oil change. The filter's only got like 500 miles on it. I changed the oil at 500 miles. It's very much overkill. But having taken it apart, you know, and rebuilt the engine, I don't do that many miles on it, so I'm changing oil on it every 6-9 months. I think that's okay. In fact, it only does 500 miles, that doesn't matter. The filter's good, I think, for 2 or 3 changes. This will be its second change, because I put a new filter on for the B44 engine, did an oil change, swapped the filter, so it's got most of any lumpy bits out of it, so it should be good. Anyway, I'll set myself up with tools, and then we'll come back. I knew I should have let this keep running. So, on our British bikes, like I said, this is 1967, and it has on it a variety of fittings. Motorcycles came from bicycles, so there's British cycle thread, there's Whitworth, which has unique size. You can't just use a regular AF, SAE, BSF, BSW kind of wrench on this. This is close to 5/8. Is it 5/8? Maybe 9/16. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's a Whitworth thread. So these are my Whitworth sockets, and I picked the wrong one because it's too small. This is where it's going to prove me wrong as well. Yeah, that's it. So that is 5/16. So for Whitworth, they use the threaded portion size, not the across flats dimension, which is what every other wrench uses. And of course, then, you know, for modern bikes, it's all metric or Torx. This is potentially three thread forms. That's cycle fine, you can tell just by looking at it. That's probably regular United Thread Forms UA, whatever. And then this is the left hand. The coarse stuff is usually Whitworth, and I think the peak of the thread is at a different angle as well. But anyway, there's a few things on here that aren't quite right because I've changed them as well. So we've got that to contend with. Anyway, I'm going to pull the brake and the foot peg off, and we can have another look. So I have the left hand thread off, and you can see the serrated washer here that I've welded on. I've actually given it a bit of a belt because it gets stuck on. There's a taper that it keys onto, but the serrations are what holds it in place. So there's a flat this is supposed to register against. It gets worn, or they get worn, a new washer. I could have welded and then ground down, but if you watch the B25 series, welding the washer to this was the easiest thing, so that's what I did, and it works, so that's good. So now we're going to drain the primary. I don't think that's oil weeping from my repair. Well, it could be. I'll check. So this actually fell over, and I did. It's epoxied on the inside. Hopefully it's not leaking. I do have another cover, so I could put another cover on it, and you see I've got a little bit of weep from fluid there as well. So that probably needs a new O-ring in it. But we'll drain that and see what's in there. And then the reason I'm getting this off is to adjust the primary chain tensioner, which is inside. It's a slipper pad. So once this has all come off, I'll do that. I should check I've got a primary cover gasket. I think I have in the box, which is why the box of gaskets is there. But we'll carry on a bit. Right, so the primary cover's off. So this is what it looks like inside. If you remember this from my failed B25 engine, I actually forgot to put oil in the primary, which is a noob mistake. But when you run oil in frame Triumphs as well, the engine oil and the primary oil are shared unless you've done something special. On the BSA they're not, so you have separate primary oil. I didn't put any in. It did 350 miles and then decided to give up. This is in really good condition. The chain is still nice and tight, lock wire is still good. Everything works on the clutch side. There's the clutch working. Just going to let it dry. The oil doesn't look bad. I mean, it's a bit black, but it'll do. I'm just going to let it drain off. I'm going to gamble with trying to keep and reuse. Whoop, let's get that back on there. Reuse the same primary gasket because I didn't tear it pulling it off, and it's probably going to weep a little bit anyway. So I'm really pleased we did that. Everything looks good. Some interesting wear patterns on the sprocket. It's a bit weird. Well, we'll just have to. I don't know what that is. Yeah, maybe have a look on that afterwards. It's definitely wearing a bit weird though. Maybe I've got a bent main shaft, which I don't want to take apart. But right now, everything looks good. I don't think there's anything. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just let it drain, wipe it out underneath, put the cover back on, then we'll put some fresh transmission fluid in it. What I will do is look in the manual and see how much it's supposed to take, so I'll do that next. Hey, shameless plug for handy airlifts. This was just a little bit too low. Put your foot on the gas pedal, or the air valve pedal lifts up in the air automatically. What a fantastic thing. That could be the best tool I've ever bought. Pretty much, actually. Pretty much the best thing I've ever bought. I know they're more than the Harbour Freight, but you get what you pay for. So, primary cover's back on. Going to undo this plug and put some oil in. And according to the most excellent Rupert ratio books, where everything is laid out so nicely that I can find what I need quickly, it takes 1/4 pint or 140 cc's of primary, supposed to put like gear oil in it. I use auto transmission fluid because that's really good, and I use it on my Bonneville as well, so I have some of that. So I've got a big hypodermic syringe that looks like something you'd get cows pregnant with. I'll ping this off. We'll do that, and then we can button this up, give it a wipe down, then move on to the gearbox oil. Alrighty, so we've got the cow insemination device, which is graduated, and can of ATF. So we'll pull in. Come on. (150 cc's). Want that in there. What's going on with that? No one's got a... There we go. That's the primary oil done. Just wipe that a bit. And then on this, because they get high crankcase pressure, or they can do, I've got the vented plug from the B50, which stops me getting overpressure in the primary, which can cause leaks. But in being vented, it can also get leaks because of the venting. So, you know, you kind of done whichever way you go. Now, what I do want to make sure is that I did up the drain plug. Let's just make sure I've got that done. Yeah, I have now. And then what I will do is put the cap on that, because we don't want to lose, don't want to knock that silly thing over, because that would be messy. I know it looks like a rough bottle, but it's brand new. Well, it was brand new probably 20 years ago. Never been opened. Right, so next we're going to do the, I'm going to clean this up, you don't need to see me clean up the cow inseminator, but we'll set that up to drain on this handy dandy draining, and it's going to drain onto the mat underneath here, which is great. So I'll then move over to the gearbox. It's just maybe, come on, there we go. Just put that there. I did a project once for a company that made these absorbent pads, and I wondered if I could, you know, hey, can I try some out? And they sent me a massive roll of them. So I'm set for life with absorbent pads, but it's great for doing stuff like this, just letting stuff dry out, because I'm going to use that hypodermic to fill up the oil tank. So I've got another, that's the clean one. I've got another one marked dirty that I use to remove oil from the oil tank, but when we get to doing the oil change, I'll show you that. I need to check up on the chain tension, because the chain tension, I don't know whether that's alright. It's just about an inch. I think that's alright. I'll check the book. And then that'll be it for this. I will let that drain a bit and then clean it out, I think. That's probably the best. Okay, now we're going to do the gearbox oil. Now, I don't know whether you can see it, but here, you can see where my finger's pointing. I think you see that. There's a big hex and a little hex. Maybe if we go underneath. There you go. Big hex, little hex. Little hex is a plug. Big hex is a bigger plug with a tube. Undo the little one. Put gearbox oil in the white thing, there, until it starts to drip out, because inside the big plug is a tube that sticks up in the gearbox, and when the oil level gets above it, it overflows. And I've got one hand holding the camera, so I can't like do that movement. So that's what I've got to get to. It's Whitworth, I think. I did adjust the chain in the end, actually, as well. I lied. It's supposed to be 3/4, so I slackened it off a little bit and wiped a bit of the rim. I will do the rest. So I'm going to try and get whatever size that is, some 16th Whitworth, get a wrench on that, and then undo the drain plug, drain the gearbox, undo the drain plug, top the gearbox oil up through there, so that gearbox oil drips out, then I know it's full, which is a cool way of doing it. I've only got 500 miles on the gearbox, like I say. This is pretty easy on the gearbox. Being a big torquey engine, I'm not changing gear a lot, so it's really good. And then the next thing to do is I want to do the valve clearances, which involves taking off the valve cups, or valve covers, and I do it by feel, so I'll loosen them, screw them in, wind it back a little bit and tighten it up. I think it's an 1/8 of a turn is all it needs on either end, really. So I'll do that, make sure they're good, not tight, and then I can do the main gearbox oil, the main engine oil, which involves draining the oil tank, which is here. And what we'll do is lower the bike down, and I'll suck it out with the old cow insemination device, and then pour fresh oil in. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll get the dip tube plug out, and then you can watch me throw oil everywhere. So this is good news. I've undone the little plug, which is here, and gearbox oil is dripping out anyway. So I really don't think I need to add any more. So I clearly got it to the right level, and I've just put the plug back in. Right. So we've established that the gearbox oil is correct, and I'm going to move over to the engine oil. So I want to lower the bike down, so I don't want to be doing it in there. So we'll just open the air a bit. Lift it up, take off the lock. There. See if there's a. There we go. Close it off so it doesn't inflate, and that's now got me a good working height to pull the oil out of. So what I do have some empty oil cans. I'm going to try and siphon into them. I sometimes end up dripping a bit, so I'm going to try and be a bit careful. Dirty oil cow inseminator. A couple of empty oil cans. Only takes like 2 or 3 quarts, so it's pretty, there's not much to it. I would normally have run this to get it hot, but I'm not going to. And what I should do probably, because you can't really see anything, is move you. So I'll move you over here so you can see what I'm up to. Right, so oil looks really good, but it's cheap insurance. That's a little dark, so we'll see what we do. Now the reason I do it this way is because according to the factory there's a banjo under here that you're supposed to undo, which is just a nightmare to do really, because because I've got the high level exhaust, the exhaust is there. It's just not good. It's not an easy way of doing things. I think there's should be a sweep on now to see whether I can knock this off and end up with oil everywhere. And I did say I was going to do the valve clearances next, but I'm going to do, because this is going to get oily, let's put a bit of this here, because these are going to end up covered in oil. This is me in the workshop faffing around. There we go. I won't dribble oil all over the lifter, not worry. Right, you probably don't need to watch me do this a million times. So once I've pushed this out, I'm going to turn the camera off and we can reconvene when I've filled it, or when I'm going to fill it. Alrighty, so I've got, actually what I want is a flashlight. We get a flashlight. There is his one. This one will do. Just to do a last quick look. So I'm all the way down to the bottom. I got the strainer. Oil tank looks good. There's no bits in there. Yeah, there's only a little bit of oil left in there. So the reason for sucking it out is, like I said, there's a union under here which is it's prone to leaking, and I've got the filter in there as well, so that's all good, and I don't really want to disturb that. So I've got a couple of quarts of straight 40 weight oil, VR1's finest, fully synthetic, monograde racing oil. I took it about 2 and a bit quarts. Should leave it for a bit. There we go, that's 1 quart. I haven't got enough, so I'm going to have to open another pack. So luckily, I had ordered a couple of 6-packs of VR1. I can get into it. There we go. So brand new 40 weight. I don't like using Amazon, you know, because of Jeff Bezos' political aspirations. Plus, the fact, guy's built a rocket that looks like a penis, which is, I find a little hard. No pun intended. So, if you've ever watched Flash Gordon, have a look at the rockets there. Clearly, that's what the inspiration was. Anyway, so second quart going in. And then we'll just top up with this already pre-opened can. Bottle, container, whatever you want to call it. And I try and have the oil up to about just under the... Oh yeah, plenty of room. And a little bit more in, what's that? Let's go off of that. So oil does expand, oh yeah, we're going the whole thing. Oil does expand when it gets hot. So that's, I've put in slightly more than what I pulled out. And that's good. That's it. There we go. Very technical. And I should use the dipstick as well, because the oil filler has a dipstick on it, and we're probably going to find that I am high. But let's just see. I am bang on the high limit. That was good. Just a little bit around there. Always get a bit on the seat. Honestly, I would love to get the later type. For the Trials bike, there's a slightly smaller oil tank, and the cap is sort of down a bit more, which would be great. Maybe when I get really good at TIG welding, I can buy an oil tank and modify it, because this thing, after I ride it for a week, I ended up with a bruise on the inside of my thigh, which could be a fun joke, but it isn't. It's for no other reason than riding this. Okay, so that's done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the valve clearances. So we'll just bring the old girl up a bit, and that clacking is the safety going in. There we go, that's there. Right, let me get some spanners or wrenches, and we'll pop these covers off. I'll do it from the other side because that's the best access, and we'll check the valve clearances.